Hey, man, you don't want to end with a prayer? I love you, dog. Bye.
So you are the reason, one of the reasons that I started this podcast, because friends for a long time, we always talk about the Bible and we always get into really interesting conversations about the Bible and about what it means, and not no like superficial, like just personal. This is how I've been feeling. This is what I'm learning. This God is, sorry, I just started laughing. This is what God is teaching me, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, yo, this should be a podcast. And Sid might be on all of them. I have no idea.
I'm with it though. Just let me know what day.
That's just what that.
Some days my eyes gonna be redder than others.
Red. Some days his eyes gonna be as red as Jesus' words in the Bible. As red as the Lord's words. No. So this particular episode is about, we're gonna get into a little bit of the will of God, because that can be a confusing topic for people. If you don't know, this is Nicodemus Whatnot, which, by the way, Sid named the podcast. So anyway,
stop patting me on my back.
So the will of God is always something that can be confusing, and I know it has been for me personally, because you think like the will of God. What does that mean? What does God want me to do? And this topic is important because, again, I like talking to men, because men are the ones, it can be a lot of pressure being a man, like what am I supposed to do? And if you're a person of faith, then it could be added pressure, because you're like, what does God want me to do? I'm confused. What's happening? Right? I know I felt like that. I don't know if you felt like that before.
What's happening, Jesus? Like, come on.
But I felt like that, especially when you get into trying to go for the goals that you feel like God gave you. Right?
You want me to I'm gonna let you lead the podcast, but you're hitting all the buttons.
So God, I feel like this is from you, God, but things are not happening. Does this mean this is not your will? Does this mean I'm off? Like what's really happening? Do I need to wait? Do I need more patience? I gotta have more? You know how long it's been? That type of thing, right? So it just caused me to go into what is the will of God, right?
You ever been praying and been like, you better not say I need some more patience. Like, God, come on, God.
Please. Come on, man.
Do not say, Sydney, I need to. God, I lost my hair. Like, it's
right.
been a while.
It's been a while. So when you talk about the will of God, one of the things that when I looked it up, it was talking about, it said God's best offer. Right? So when you talk about the will of God, I want to, boom. It's easy for me to use entertainment analogies, right? So, God, I want a show. And you go on auditions and you be trying to do things and nothing's happening. And you're like, God, but I want a show. And I've been going to acting classes and I've been doing all these things. I've been working on me. Man, why haven't I got a show? Here's the thing. That's our perspective. God's perspective is, I'm trying to give you my best offer. I can give you any offer. I can give you this show, that show, whatever. But is this my best offer? Right? What you grinning at?
This is just such like a sermon. Like,
right.
Man, it's like, and I'm just thinking because I'm grinning about things in my life that I'm not gonna bring up what you're talking about. Like, that's
right. Yeah. But it's not like a sermon in a bad way. Right?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I was like, yeah, this is good.
So yeah, best offer. So whether it's a job, whether it's, an opportunity, whether you need more, whatever, we're thinking about, God, we need this. I want this right now. And God has a different view. Like I'm trying to give you my best offer, which is why I might tell you, even though you don't want to hear it, to have some more patience. And you'd be like, like Sid said, like we all have been like, is this not this look really good to me, guys? Is this not the best, right? So one of the scriptures that people use for God's will, they use Jeremiah 29:11, right? So if you don't know, I'll read it right now. For I know the plans I have for you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, right? plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. Right. You know it. Exactly. Jeremiah 29:11.
That's Jeremiah 23:11?
29:11.
29.
Yeah, right. You was off just by a couple. It's by a couple. So
that'll be my next tag.
So people use that to be like, boom, God wants you to have all these things, yada, yada. So let's, boom, dissect that a little bit more. For I know the plans. We know what plans are to us. You know, that's just us. We planning on going to dinner, right? We planning on going to dinner on Friday. So we're going to put it on the schedule and boom, we going to dinner, right? Well, when you look up the word, it says cunning work. It says imagination. It says purpose. So I know not the plans I have for you, but I know the thoughts that I have for you. Another word they use is, I know the device I have for you. So all of those words to me mean that God is not just planning something for you, like, okay, on Thursday, you're going to do this. He's like, if God is planning for you to get something on Friday, then it don't start on Friday. Whatever his plans are, started on Sunday. Like he's doing things on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday to lead to whatever this thing that he wants you to have on Friday. So his mind is much bigger than just, oh, I just want you to have a show, or I just want you to have some money, or I want you to have a business. No, that's not what it is. It's much bigger than that. You're going to find out why it's much bigger later. It does feel like a sermon. You're right. Probably because you're quiet. It probably quiet.
You haven't gave me a place to talk. You and you're looking at what
it says in
the Bible. Not like you talk, not like you were talking, but it seems like a place where you listen. You're like, and what it means is it's purpose. Like,
it's good though. It's good. So those are the plans. Then it says plans to prosper you. Prosper means complete soundness, welfare, and peace. So when you think about the will of God, if you don't have peace in whatever the thing is, if your mind is not, on point as far as you don't have anxiety and yada, 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 or you do have anxiety, then that's probably not in his will, because something that's his best offer is not going to give you anxiety, right? It's not going to give you, something where you confused about where this is coming from, yada, yada, yada. So we can, move on from there, because good fortune and health and prosperity, blah, 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 blah. Harm, we know that. Plans not to harm you. We already know harm is bad and evil. The next thing is plans for the future. Here's the big part for me. Plans for the future. I always say we, because I'm in the boat too, but we think about right now. God, I want this thing right now, right? So I need you to give it to me right now, because that's what we're thinking about it in the near future. Things that are the will of God and the plans that God wants to give you has to do with longevity. It has to do with, I'm giving you this now, but is it gonna continue to give you good things from now until forever? Okay, it talks about like residue, posterity. Posterity means like all future generations, right? So if I want a business and I want my business to be successful, one of the ways that I know my business is successful, because it leads into the future. So it's also something that can benefit my kids.
All right.
And it's also something that my kids' kids can benefit from, because whatever this will of God, thing is. So that's big. Hope, it was the last one. Plans to give you a future, plans to give you, prosperity, not harm. I'm gonna give you all these things, and then I'm gonna give you hope. Hope, again, has to do with the thing that I long for. One of the things that me and Sid really connect on since day one was our desire and hope to get in the entertainment industry, right? And it wasn't, one of the reasons we're passionate about it is because it wasn't just for right now. It wasn't just because we want bread for a new whip, or we want to be able to buy Jordans whenever we want to, or we want, I can only buy, an ounce of weed before this. Now I can buy 5 ounces of weed. Like, ooh, it wasn't just about that. It was about the fact that this is going to lead to, I don't just want a job, I want a career. I want a career in the entertainment industry, not a job. Sid know a lot of people who just have jobs in the industry. And it's not something that adds to their career. It's not something that adds to their legacy as a comedian or their legacy as an actor or entertainment person. It's just a job. This job didn't do nothing for you. It didn't really set you up for nothing for the future. You got that job for whatever, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you got paid. And you really, when it ended, you were in the exact same spot that you were before you even had the job, you know? So a lot of things are like that in our lives, right? We just like, I want this now. And God is like, I'm trying to set something up past right now. So when you think about the will of God, you got to remember, is this God's best offer? And if it doesn't hit all of those qualifications, as far as giving you something for the future, giving you not just a beginning, but I'm gonna give you an end. And if you have a beginning and an end, that means you also have a bunch of stuff in the middle as well. You know, so that's just what that is, just to kind of help our understanding about what the will of God actually is. We don't have to be confused about it, because if it hits all of those points, then it's like, okay, I can see this being the will of God. This is just not something that's going to...
But no, I gotta keep it 100.
Go ahead.
It is confusing sometimes.
Go.
Right? To know if you're in the will of God, right? Because
right.
Something could be going a certain way and then it stop, and you're like, all right, what's going on? Like,
right.
Okay, so then you got something better for me.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And so then, you know, that's the mentality, especially as an artist, you gotta kind of keep in your head that I'm led by God, so, you know.
Right.
But sometimes you're in positions where you're like, I guess confused because you're deciding, is this the direction I should go in the will of God? You know what I mean? Or is this like or is it not a direction I should go in? Sometimes that part is confused a little bit. And then, you know, it'll always work itself out though. You know what I mean? But in those moments, it's sometimes hard to tell. But then when you look back, you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay, for example, and you know me, all this is just examples, you know me. Mm-hmm. This was my first ever thing ever was the second thing ever, the High Ghetto Mess Show. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting tables.
Right.
We're talking about we need $10,000. That's what my manager said. They want to offer me $10,000.
Right.
I said, yeah.
Yes, right.
He said, hold on, we're trying to see if we get more. I said, sir, hear me good.
Hear me, yeah.
I wait tables. I've never made $10,000
yeah.
tables.
Ever.
I'll be fine. I literally said on my birthday grave, I said, I'm a humble dude, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I could take. He said, Sydney, let us do our job. And like hung up. And I remember like, now here's the point where like the other side of me. If this 10,000 doesn't go through because you messed it up, like I was on some like, I just told you that I wait tables.
Yeah.
And he called back. He was like, we got you a few more $1,000 more. I was like, oh. But it's like, look, if I could let that man do his job,
yes.
right? Then I gotta let God do his job the same way through. And it's just harder to understand that sometimes.
Yes.
Because, and you know, it's like I tell you, I joke with you all the time. I would have been a perfect Christian. Was it pre him dying? When
right.
he used to when he used to talk in bushes, he used to give you signs where you knew, nigga, this is God. Like if this microphone got up and started walking away, that's God.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, see, can I talk to you for a second? I'm the microphone. I'm the microphone. Nigga, it's me. You're like, okay. Yeah. Nowadays, because y'all didn't want to listen, now you left it to your free will. Like, Lord, like, I need direct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to be in a space, too, to, like, receive it. And if it's not the answer you're looking for, still receive the same answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.